This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
Some are even punished for their religious beliefs. It's ridiculous.
We understand that all the actions that we take may wind up having us sit in front of a judge and explaining our actions.
The THC content is much higher than it used to be.
Your only failure is not trying.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. The president defended religious freedom at the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. today.
To have a great nation, you have to have religion. I believe that so strongly. There has to be something after we go through all of this, and that something is God.
The president issuing a proclamation vowing to protect prayer in public schools with new guidance for the Department of Education.
For most of our country's history, the Bible was found in every classroom in the nation. Yet in many schools today, students are instead indoctrinated with anti-religious propaganda, and some are even punished for their religious beliefs, and very, very strongly punished. It's ridiculous.
Trump was at the museum for the second meeting of the Religious Liberty Commission. There was a huge win for Donald Trump in court today. In a 6-3 decision, the U.S. Supreme Court has lifted restrictions on immigration raids in Los Angeles. ICE agents are relieved.
It's great because it allows us to do exactly what President Trump said he was going to do, which is remove these criminals.
It will allow Border Patrol to use their race, location, job, physical appearance, or the language they speak as some of the factors when making arrests. Paul Perez is the National Border Patrol Council president.
To establish the reasonable suspicion or the probable cause to effect an arrest, all our agents and officers are trained on how to testify to everything that we do. We understand that all the actions that we take may wind up having us sit in front of a judge and explaining our actions.
Justice Sonia Sotomayor dissented, saying, quote, "We should not have to live in a country where the government can seize anyone who looks Spanish." The ruling means L.A. Mayor Karen Bass will no longer be able to shield illegal immigrants with criminal backgrounds. On the streets of Jerusalem, terrorists killed 6 people and wounded 12. President Trump issued his final warning to Hamas on Sunday to release the remaining hostages. Hamas has not claimed responsibility for the attack, but is applauding it. Analyst Courtney Keeley.
The 2 shooters were shot dead on the scene. This took place near Hebrew University on the outskirts of Jerusalem at a bus stop. This was the worst attack in several years.
In Florida, jury selection is underway in the trial of Ryan Ruth, the man charged with trying to assassinate Donald Trump last year on a golf course. CBS legal analyst Lori Levinson.
The first thing that happens is they'll bring in a big pool of potential jurors, about 60 at a time, and question those individuals about what they know about the case and what their biases might be.
And there's new data out on smartphone use.
The study was recently published in the Journal of Human Development and Capabilities. It found that 18 to 24-year-olds who had their first smartphone at 12 or younger were more likely to report suicidal thoughts, aggression, detachment from reality, poorer emotional regulation, and low self-worth. The data also shows these effects are linked to early social media access and higher risks of cyberbullying, disrupted sleep, and poor family relationships in adulthood. I'm Rob Martier.
Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, Texas and New York in a fight again over abortion. Pennsylvania is protecting your personal data, and a lesson in de-escalation. The father that gave up a home run ball at a Phillies game. We've got that story after weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast for tonight. Turning out moonlit, any puffy clouds fade away, and it does get chilly again. Low temps most areas 40s, lower 50s near Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, and again the usual valley fog late. Tomorrow and Wednesday, other than early day fog patches, abundant sunshine and warming up, with high temperatures both days getting up into the 70s.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. The attorneys general from New York and Texas are squaring off in a legal fight over abortion pill access. The latest from Family Life's Mark Webster.
Yeah, New York Democrat Letitia James says she's joining the case stemming from Texas's suit against a downstate New York county clerk who's refusing to file a 6-figure judgment against a New York doctor accused of prescribing abortion drugs to a woman in Texas where they are outlawed. James claims Texas has no authority to impose its abortion laws over New York's so-called shield laws, which she says protects the doctor from prosecution. Texas AG Ken Paxton says those laws violate the U.S. Constitution's full faith and credit clause governing how states regard other states' laws. Paxton says, quote, no matter where they reside, pro-abortion extremists will face the full force of Texas's pro-life laws. Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Who has your data? Pennsylvania Senators John Fetterman and Dave McCormick introduced a bill this afternoon to regulate Chinese investment firms. They're concerned that Americans could be exposed through popular apps like TikTok and Temu to the Chinese Communist Party. Both senators say the U.S. has no jurisdiction on mainland China, and they're calling for bills to guard Americans' financial data. There are only 2 states in the U.S. that don't have a budget yet, Michigan and Pennsylvania. The Keystone State just crossed the 70-day mark for a late date. State lawmakers are now back in session, and some residents may be understandably skeptical about an end to the fiscal stalemate in Harrisburg, but Democratic State Senate Leader Jay Costa tells WHTM it shouldn't be too much longer.
A lot of conversations over the weekend have taken place, myself with Leader Pittman, with Leader Bradford and the governor and I a couple times. So no, I think that we're closing the gap significantly, and I think it won't be long before this thing is resolved.
School and healthcare leaders are among groups deeply impacted by the delay. There's been a sharp rise in the number of cannabis-related ER visits since marijuana became legal in New York 4 years ago. 135,000 people were rushed to the hospital in 2023. That's double the amount from 2 years earlier.
A lot of what's available in legal dispensaries, or even what's available in the street, is that the THC content is much higher than it used to be. So people are starting to experience some bad effects.
Dr. Max Barubai is an emergency room physician in the Mohawk Valley.
Some of it is intractable nausea and vomiting to the point where you actually need to come to the emergency department so that we can rehydrate you and replenish some of the electrolytes that you use. And sometimes you're altered. So alterations in mental status, and it takes hours, if not a day or two, to clear, especially in younger children.
He tells Spectrum News cannabis use disorders are real, and their numbers are skyrocketing in states that permit pot for recreational purposes. And a lesson in de-escalation in Pennsylvania. She's been nicknamed Philly's Karen, a woman who had a confrontation with a family over a home run ball at a Phillies Marlins game September 5th. Father Drew Feltwell chased the ball down for his son, only to have Philly's Karen demand it back from him.
I think the world could use a little extra de-escalation. Everything's so tense. The world is pretty crazy. I didn't want to do anything like that in front of my son. It was tough giving the ball back, but it ended that situation.
But his son Lincoln was disappointed.
I was really excited because that was the first home run ball we've ever gotten.
This is where the story takes a curveball. The Phillies got word of what happened and called the family down to get a signed baseball bat instead, presented by the player that hit the home run, Phillies center fielder Harrison Bader.
Our evening worked out quite well afterwards. I can't complain.
And I hope that ball meant a lot to her.
Little Lincoln glad that Philly's Karen also scored a win. Great parenting there, Dad. Next at 5, issues in education with Dr. Ralph Kerr at the Teaching and Learning Institute in Houghton, New York. We start with the bell-to-bell smartphone ban in the Empire State. Let's listen in.
The state did come out with this bell-to-bell ban, and districts had the opportunity to prepare a policy that they all did and submitted to the state. And now, obviously, we're only a week into it, but it's really interesting. The reaction that I've heard are twofold. One, that there have been no complaints from the students at all, which kind of surprises me. But the biggest thing that has been noted is that there's a lot more personal interaction amongst the students, which is really great.
Yeah, I heard one school official say that it's nice to have the cafeteria loud again. It's something with these kids buried in their phones that wasn't happening. Let's move on. Big doings in Harrisburg. The state budget is 70 days late. It was due at the end of June. Here we are at the beginning of September, and they still don't have a state budget. This really starts to impact public education, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, in Pennsylvania, school districts were expecting $1.4 billion in basic education funding, along with $255 million in special education funding, and about $99 million in federal grant payments. So almost $2 billion they're not receiving right now. And this is just a tragedy. I get really upset with the states, both New York and Pennsylvania, when they pull this stuff. They're supposed to do that budget by the end of June. They wouldn't let schools get away with not processing things on a timely manner. But for some reason, states think that's okay.
Yeah.
And in this case, they've really put the Pennsylvania schools in a fix.
Yeah. Well, here we are, first show of the new season, and we already have a Ralphie call. For those who don't know, people who call in and ask questions, we call them Ralphies for Dr. Ralph Kerr, and this one has a great question. Wants to know, how do I start a Bible club at my school? How should I approach the Board of Education about this, Ralph?
Well, this was an interesting call, and the answer is really very simple. That is, it really depends on if the school district has what they call an open campus or whether they have a closed campus. The closed campus means that no outside groups can use the facility at all for any purpose. An open campus means that if the Boy Scouts or the Guides or anybody like that want to use the school, they can. And certainly in this case, if some of them wanted to start a Bible club, they'd be able to do that in a district where there is an open campus. And I certainly would encourage people to consider doing that in their local school district.
That's Dr. Ralph Kerr with the Teaching and Learning Institute. You can subscribe, listen to, and share issues in education and all of Family Life's original podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at FamilyLife.org.
Is there a gap between what you think you spend and what you really spend? Hi, I'm Rob West with the Faith and Finance Minute. According to the Wall Street Journal, that gap is growing for many Americans, and inflation is the reason. We often carry outdated mental price tags, but in reality, costs have gone up. It just takes time for our brains and budgets to catch up. If you haven't reviewed your spending plan lately, now's the time. Are your grocery, dining, and household categories still realistic? If not, adjust your numbers and identify areas where you can cut back. And if you need help tracking where your money's really going, the FaithFi app makes it simple to manage your spending and stay on budget. It's a great tool for stewarding God's resources with clarity and purpose. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, you're never too old to chase your dreams. A story of encouragement after weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Weather-wise, it's a serene scene this week. Sprawling high pressure will be the dominant force in our weather, keeping our weather tranquil, pleasant, with cool nights, mild days, and really no chance of rain before maybe Sunday or Monday of next week. Our call for tonight, turning out moonlit. Any puffy clouds fade away, and it does get chilly again. Low temps most areas 40s, lower 50s near Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, and again the usual valley fog late. Tomorrow and Wednesday, other than early day fog patches, abundant sunshine and warming up, with high temperatures both days getting up into the 70s.
Thank you, Kevin. Finally at 5, the story of a man, a tuba, and a dream delayed but not denied. The man is 66-year-old retired Louisiana accountant and former tuba player Kent Broussard. The dream? Playing tuba in the prestigious LSU marching band. But life has a way of pushing such dreams to the side. He tells CBS.
No, I wasn't going to do that. No, I wasn't going to play for the LSU band when I was 50.
No, 50 was apparently still too young. But at 66, he told his wife Cheryl he was enrolling at LSU to finally give his brassy dream a chance.
And at first I was like, do they have like a senior band? I mean, I wasn't sure what he was exactly talking about. And it was the real band.
The silver-haired freshman relearned the tuba and trained to march while playing. Nice feel-good story, though, says LSU's marching band director.
There are no breaks when you come here, and we follow that process to get the best possible group we can.
And in auditions, Broussard proved to be one of the best, becoming the oldest member of the Tigers marching band by 41 years. He hopes he inspires other seniors to march to their own tune.
Try it. The only thing you can do is fail. Your only failure is not trying.
Kent the Tiger Tuba made his official debut this past weekend, winning a standing ovation from the home crowd. And that's the world that we live in for Monday, the 8th of September. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.